It's Scott Simmons at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival. It's Saturday morning and I just went to the first movie of the film festival that I'm going to see. I went to The Five Broken Cameras. It was a fabulous movie. If you haven't seen it, it was really worth going to. It's about the Palestinian struggle in Palestine, and it was just an absolutely incredible movie. Probably very emotional to watch. The filming was incredible. It just shows the power of one person with a video camera, a persistent videographer who consistently went after the story and filmed the epic battle that they were having in their town. It was passionate, it was heartwarming. The movie had incredible filming, and it really it brought out emotion, which is what a movie is supposed to do. So my thumbs up to the filmer and the editor of the movie. Well done, great movie. Thank you.
Jonesy. I'm at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival, and I just saw my first film, which was Five Broken Cameras, about the Palestinian Israeli occupation. Unbelievable film. Gutsy filmmaker who went on the front lines of the establishment of a barrier separating the village of Bilin from the rest of the Israeli occupied territories. And it was really heart-wrenching to see the suffering of the people. They protested every day. They put their life on the line. To see their perspective and to try and comprehend why this was happening really came through in the film, and it was an excellent 90 minutes showing the suffering and the pain that the Palestinian people have been put through by the Western governments. And I say this because the Israeli government is supported by the West, and I don't understand why this is still happening. And I think everybody in the theater, there's probably in the classroom where the film was being shot, was riveted. They were riveted to their seats, riveted to the screen and to the storytelling. And the 5 cameras that got destroyed in the 5 or 6 years of filmmaking, and people who died, the empathy towards the characters, it was a well done documentary. And I was there in 2000. 9 months before the Intifada. I traveled through Israel, Syria, Lebanon, when there were times of peace. And the generosity of the people there to strangers, to a Western stranger, I was blown away by. The Bedouins, the story, I hope they can return to that, but right now I just feel that it's a hopeless situation. Syria was a beautiful country. People were beautiful. It was nice not to see a westernized country. And now what has happened since the second Intifada in 2000, and then to see what the struggle is with the barriers going up and the walls, this 5 cameras was just, wow, it was heart-wrenching. And it was well worth seeing.
I'm Jerry Ackerman, and I just watched the We Are Not Broke film at the Salt Spring Film Festival. I enjoyed watching it, but I do think the producers were a bit naive in terms of not understanding the importance of public banking compared with private banking. And the U.S. is cursed with private banking, and we are too in Canada, but we shouldn't be. We have our own bank, it's the Bank of Canada, and we used to use it and use it really well through the 40s, 50s, 60s, into the 70s. And we did a lot of great things with it, like universal health care and Trans-Canada Highway and so on. But we quit doing that because the bankers took over, and the international bankers told them, don't lend the government any money without paying interest. And we could do that if we had our own bank, and the U.S. could do it if they had a public bank. But they don't. They've got a private bank. And that's the naivety I'm talking about, that the producers of the film don't understand that, or clearly don't. And they just see it, they buy into the system of it being, oh, tax cuts are wrong, we should increase services, but they don't even understand what it would take to do that. And in Canada, we're still operating our system as if we had a private bank instead of our own bank that could borrow. The government could borrow and spend into the economy, as we did in the 40 years that I was a part of. And we could do that anytime, and we wouldn't have the austerity program, and we wouldn't have all these cuts, which only enrich the already rich. I think the best thing I saw at another film here was on the horseman, where the trickle-down theory was explained very, very well. The horse up on a hill eating oats, and the rear end of the horse was trickling down to the rest of the economy.
I'm Letitia, and I'm at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival, and I just watched Occupy Love. And the best thing about it was the warm environment. There was really no protesting. It was just people coming together for one global reason of saving the planet. And I thought it was beautiful and very well done. So thanks. I think you should see it.
Hi, my name's Jack Rosen. I'm at the Salt Spring Film Festival, and I just finished watching Bottled Life about Nestle's and how they extract huge millions of gallons of water from aquifers underneath communities that need water much more significantly than the wealthy people they're selling the bottled water to. It was an excellent film, good education, would be well viewed by all kinds of communities in North America and Europe that drink bottled water.
My name is Paul Burke. I'm here at the Salt Spring Film Festival, and a couple of films that I've watched today. Five Broken Cameras, which was an absolutely wonderful look into Palestinian life in a village in the West Bank. Very beautifully structured, very tight and organized. And then another film was Revolution, which was a hugely big film about life in the oceans and life on the planet, which I found ultimately not as satisfying as the very small, low-budget film Five Cameras, because the filmmaker, Rob Stewart, tried to do too much. He wasn't good at editing. There was a lot of material at the Copenhagen and Cancun, the United Nations conferences, which could have been edited. And ultimately, it was trying to do too much. So from my point of view, I preferred the small film about some people doing something in a very particular place.
I'm Jonesy here at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival, having a great time. First time here in my life. I just moved here 8-9 months ago, and I've seen 3 films today. And the last film I saw in the afternoon was called The Ambassador, and it was done by Mr. Brugger. I think he's Danish, and he plans to go to Central African Republic as a Liberian politician, diplomat. Apparently diplomats have diplomatic immunity when they're going in and out of the country. So his plan was to come in and establish his credentials and be involved with the powers that be, and have a business on the side which was exporting blood diamonds. How were they procured? How do you get to them? There's a whole business with diplomatic, how do I say, paperwork. It's a business unto itself, and this film really exploited that in a very unique way with many different camera angles, hidden cameras, and the characters who were part of that were actually quite fascinating. The way he weaved the story, actually the way it evolved, puts you on the edge of your seat and captures you and takes you along his ride. And I thought it was fascinating, and I really thank the Salt Spring Film Festival board for bringing that film in, and it's worth a watch. It's really good.
Hi, I'm Madison Gregains, and I'm at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival. Yesterday I saw the movie Sweet Dreams, and it was about women in Africa, and they're building an ice cream shop. And it's amazing to think about the fact that ice cream is something that they've never experienced. This is something we've grown up with, and it was a really interesting new thing to think about for me. It was beautifully done. The women were all so kind and wonderful in the movie, and the way they filmed it, how they followed them, and it was beautiful. And the drumming scenes were my favorites. They were dancing, they were smiling, they were playing their drums, and it was really amazing how they made the point of how drumming was for men, and now women are taking this over and making it for themselves, and empowering themselves through it, and how they made the point women weren't allowed to touch drums. And I thought that was just wild. And so now that they're doing beautiful things with the drums, making amazing music, and like making amazing relationships with each other through the drumming. And those were all such amazing things to watch, and I really enjoyed it.
I'm Ellie Linnell, and I am at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival, and I just watched Bone, Wind, Fire. I thought it was really good, actually. It was really well filmed. Like the look of it, it kept going back between Georgia O'Keeffe, Emily Carr, and who was the third artist? Oh, Frida Kahlo. And it was really interesting, actually, because I learned a lot about the artists, because I'm into film, and I like just the way I was paying attention to the way it was filmed, and the way it kept going back, and the different looks of each artist's world, and how they saw the world, and what they thought about, the world in general, and where they were living, and how that inspired their paintings. So I really liked it. I thought it was really good.
Hi, I'm Tracy Harrison of Frida's Villa and Cottage on Salt Spring Island, and I'm here at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival. The film I just saw is called Bone, Wind, Fire, and it's a film about Emily Carr, Georgia O'Keeffe, and Frida Kahlo. My bed and breakfast on the island is all about Frida Kahlo and Mexico, so I was really intrigued to see the documentary. I've seen many documentaries on Frida, as well as the movie that Selma Hayek was in, and I have to say this is a really good film. It's very artsy. There's wonderful movement from nature to the actual paintings that the women did. It's a wonderful storyline about each of their lives. That gives you an idea of how they saw the world and why they painted what they painted. I love that it starts off with their view, each of them in their own places where they saw life and painted life. So I highly recommend this film.
Scott Simmons on Salt Spring Island at the film festival. I just finished watching Sympathy of Soil, and it was so good. It was a movie about soil and the organic gardening and the whole farming movement, local food movement, and it really brought it back to Salt Spring when I thought about people like Linda Gilchrist and Bruce's Kitchen and all the things that are happening on Salt Spring Island. I thought it was a wonderful movie. It really showed what can be done at a local level, and I think we're doing a lot of it here. I think we need more composting. It was just a fantastic movie that was really worth seeing. I'm really glad that the film festival brought the movie here. It was a packed room. There had to be about probably about 50 people in the room. Really worth seeing though, the Sympathy of Soil. Wonderful movie at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival.
Hi, I'm Madison Gregains, and I'm at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival. The first movie I watched yesterday was Call Me Cuckoo, It was a really amazing movie, really inspiring. One thing, I cried a lot. It definitely makes you feel proud to be on Salt Spring. The movie I thought was really well done. The footage was really great. All the people that the movie revolved around were really inspiring people. You could tell that they were activists, and they were really determined to get their message across, and were really open to sharing their message. And it was about being a homosexual in Uganda, and it's so awful the way that they're treated there, and it was really touching. It was a beautiful movie.
Hi, my name is Michael Contardi. I'm here at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival on Sunday, and I just saw Big Boys Gone Bananas by Girton. It was a wonderful film, an expose. It was a film about freedom of speech, really. I thought I was going to see a film about the film he actually made, which was an expose on Dole's spraying of chemicals and the effects on workers in banana plantations. But the film was actually about how Dole attempted to shut down the film that Girton made, the documentary film, when he tried to show it at the Los Angeles Film Festival, and how they used all these various tactics to try to scare everybody and sue everybody associated with the film festival and the making of the film into not showing it, and how actually they were quite successful initially in doing that. It was really a sad commentary on the U.S. Press, the U.S. media, how it's so controlled by money and power, especially of large multinational corporations such as Dole, that everybody was willing to go along with and basically reprint Dole's press releases. And this was even before anyone had even seen the film. They were trying to shut it down. So it was really quite an exceptional journey that this filmmaker took, and going back to Sweden ended up getting a great amount of support from the Swedish Parliament, from Swedish restaurants, and from Swedish grocery stores, and put enough pressure on Dole, in fact, that large grocery stores were about to boycott Dole bananas, largely because they were coming against the freedom. They were against freedom of speech. So really, the issue became secondary of the banana workers, and it really became about freedom of speech. So he ended up winning in the end. It was a David versus Goliath, and David triumphed. So that always feels good.
Hi, I'm Catherine Paquette, and I'm with the Salt Spring Forum. I'm here today at the Salt Spring Film Festival for the Social Justice Bazaar. And I have a table here with the forum. We bring speakers from all over Canada, and once in a while even internationally, to talk about current events, important issues of the day. We've recently had Mark Lee from the Canadian Centre of Policy Alternatives, and he was speaking about the environment and about the Keystone Pipeline project. And and then Salt Springers come, and we have a forum-like discussion on the issue at hand. That's the Salt Spring Forum, so I encourage you to get involved. And I just saw the movie Veto. It's about a gay rights activist named Vito Russo, and it was just all about his life and the contributions he made to the community, the queer community, and then it ended with him unfortunately dying of AIDS. So that was quite sad at the end of the movie, but it was also a really inspiring movie to see all the important contributions he made. So I recommend it.
I'm Theron Gower. I'm at the Salt Spring Film Festival, and I just watched a movie called It's a Girl. This movie, as I expected, was a bit difficult to watch because what happens to girl babies around the world is a terrifying thing in parts of the world that don't value women. particularly India and China was what this movie focused on. We heard some of the stories of women, particularly in China, battling against that and having their girl children, despite the fact that it's illegal to have more than one and not valued in their society. And one thing this movie shows is that the power that a film like this can have, because one of the couples was able to go ahead and have their illegal child outside of China. So that's one life saved, and hopefully many more that will be saved as this movie touches people's hearts.
Hi, I'm Jerry Barinholtz. I'm at the Salt Spring Film Festival, and I watched several movies about music. One of them was Play Like a Lion, Ali Akbar Khan. The other one was Lou Harrison, A Life of Music. Both of those I recommend to you. They were, as film, they were excellent. Biography's a bit hard. A lot of biographies of great people. You have other great people saying, that was a great person, but no idea what they're about. Each of these two films, you came away knowing a lot about why these people were great and who thought so and why they thought so. And that for me is like the mark of good biography filmmaking. Also, totally unexpectedly, each of them had a personal connection. Harrison was a Bay Area musician, taught at Mills College for years, brought a gamelan to the Bay Area. Ali Akbar Khan had an Indian music school in the Bay Area. Each of those was sort of at its peak, late 60s, early 70s, when I just happened to be a grad student at Berkeley, and that was the stuff that was in the air. So each of those films was a nostalgia rush for me, bringing back some of the best of that part of my life. So again, go see them.
Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Bowles, and I'm at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival 2013. It's been a great day so far. I work here on Salt Spring Island for SWOVA, Salt Spring Women Opposed to Violence and Abuse, and we do some work around homophobia, and so it was really fascinating to watch the last film that I just saw, Call Me Kuchu, about the things that have been going on in Uganda for the last several years around anti-homophobia bills that have been, government officials have been attempting to pass, which would include things such as life imprisonment and possibly the death penalty for people who are practicing homosexuality, for people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered. It's very highly discriminatory laws that they're trying to propose in Uganda, and there's been a lot of violence that people in Uganda have experienced as a result of the movement against homosexuality. One of the most interesting things about the film, among many, was the tremendous outpouring international criticism against the passing of the laws in Uganda, ranging from United Nations work to international organizations like Amnesty International, working to try to stop and make the international community aware of what's going on in Uganda. Really inspiring the work, though, of the activists right in Uganda, doing really valuable frontline work where people are truly heroes, sheroes. Really amazing work, a really touching film. I feel quite emotional after watching it. I cried during the film. So did several other people. It was a very, very powerful, potent film. Left a lot of people feeling quite emotional, sad, but also inspired because of the great work that people are doing and filmmakers are bringing to the fore and letting people know about. So a great film to check out this afternoon. Thank you.
I'm Bill Henderson at the Salt Spring Island Film Festival, and I just watched Revolution. I'm kind of stunned right now because it's very devastating. It's saying stuff we all know, and have thought about so many times and are all trying in our ways to do something about. When I'm talking about climate change, I'm talking about the incredible downward spiral that we've been working on and that is increasing as we speak. How do we change this? Revolution, what do we do? It's very difficult, but young people are standing up and doing things. That's great. We have Elizabeth May from our riding here, who is certainly doing her share. And we just all have to contribute, I guess. We all got to do the best we can. Use as little, create as little a small problem as we possibly can and contribute to the solution. Go for it.
Welcome to the 14th Annual Salt Spring Film Festival. What an incredible weekend we've had. The sun is shining, the rain has poured. We've screened 51 movies, including shorts. We've had filmmakers come, we've had incredible discussions. We've had rooms packed. At one point we were operating at about 98.5% capacity. I think out of our 500 seats we had about 6 empty. It's been an incredible success, and most importantly, it's been an incredible opportunity for the community to engage in discussions and learning about various aspects that are covered in these documentary films. We've had everything from Iranian diplomatic relationships with the US in the form of a basketball team, and we've had gender issues and environmental issues. We've had some incredible environmental films with Revolution and Chasing Ice, and we've talked about the pipeline and On the Line and Reflections for an Oil-Free Coast, and we talked about Love, Occupy Love. Both screenings were full, and both discussions afterwards were very, very interesting. Producer Ian McKenzie was on hand to answer some questions. And all in all, this film festival 2013 has been a total success. I'd like to issue some thank yous, special thank yous to everybody who came out to the festival. We've had probably 900 people through the doors over the weekend, and they've donated their time, their money, and their brains. We've had incredible dialogues about all these films that have happened, and incredible dialogues with the filmmakers. I'd like to issue a special thank you to the filmmakers that came to the festival. They traveled over to Salt Spring, some of them for their first time being on this beautiful island, and they showed their films, they did an introduction, and then they led discussions in the classrooms, and then they walked out into the multi-purpose room in the middle, and they got bombarded with questions over and over again, and they were very gracious in the way that they just carried on the discussions about their important issues. Also like to thank all the business sponsors that contributed to the festival, and the individuals that donated, all the staff and the board and the committees that donated their time. Of course, all the volunteers that donated their time for the weekend. Without them, it really wouldn't happen. And of course, Living Water Media Services and Dave Volrath saved the day many times. We had technical problems, and who was there to help us out? Of course, Dave was. Thanks everybody, we'll see you next year.